Well, it's NAB 2022, and of course we're here at the Glensound stand. Got my good friend Marc Wilson, and Marc, we've got some amazing new products to look at. Tell us a bit about these.
Well, yes, it's great to be here and at last be able to show off our new device that we've been keeping a little under wraps, but we're launching here at NAB. This is the GTM. This is Glensound entering the esports market. We've been involved in a few projects, 7 actually, over the last few years in esports tournaments using our existing product line, but it gave us enough insight into the tournaments to know that we needed a dedicated fit-for-purpose product that met a lot of the unique demands that you get in an esports environment. And we've tried to do that in one box, put 3 key jobs together in a single device that can be used across the players, the coaches, the referees, or even the announcers to keep things simple in a tournament. So that's what we've tried to do with the GTM. It's very simple in its look because obviously the gamer will be using this, but there's an awful lot happening behind the scenes. If we start on the top panel, the pots on the top, these are just the inputs to the headphones. So these are the headphone channels. The game, the team mix, and me, their own voice. So they're the 3 pots. Most importantly, the game has multiple options for getting into the headphones to keep flexibility for different tournaments on different devices, PlayStations, Xboxes, PCs, whatever it might be. So on the back, you can see we have multiple sources available to us for the game audio, which can be selected on the back. This can be locked out so that it's accessible only from the software. Where we've got a stereo mini jack, 3.5mm jack for game audio, we can do it on an SP diff. We've got USB audio inputs, then we have multi-channel inputs for Dante channels because it's a Dante AES67 network device, or we can de-embed audio channels from SDI, which we'll look at more in a moment on the software. So we've given a lot of flexibility and options of where the game audio will come from, whilst making the most advantage of it being a network audio device to keep all the cabling simple and powering, because it's a PoE device, single cable for all the audio and the power. So that's the game. Then the team, we generate the team mix ourselves for distribution to the other players and the coaches, maybe the referee. It's very configurable, which we'll look at here. So they can adjust their team mix here and then the level of their own voice. Then on the front, we give them options of using a TRRS gaming headset, as we have here, or we have a traditional 3-pin mic input with headphone sockets for a 1/4-inch jack or an 1/8-inch jack. Importantly, these are 2 separate headphone amplifiers that we can address separately. The reason for this is to allow for how the tournament rules require noise to be managed. So if the game audio requires that there is an over-ear headset as well for noise when they're out of game, we can send noise to one amp and have the game on the other amplifier. So you can work in the way that some tournaments work at the moment. But it also means that we can do noise and game audio on a single pair of headphones or headset. So if the tournament rules allow, they might only have to use 1 pair of headphones. For further explanation, really, it's worth looking at the software because the whole device is remote controllable. Because there are many features within it. So if we can head up to our controller here, this is our Glen controller that runs on Windows 10. We see the front panel representation where we can remote adjust the levels directly from here, and we can balance those if we wish, if they're required. This is where we set what goes to the 2 headphone amplifiers, the headset output or the headphone jacks, and you can see here we've got the noise going to the headset, and on the headphone jack you can put the game and turn the noise off, vice versa, or both, depending on how the system is being used. Here you can see that we've got locks, so although you can adjust the mic gain on the back of the unit and the input selection, you can set this here so that it's locked, so the gamer can't check or change anything. It does have a clip compressor as standard, so any shouting, yelling, it will prevent it clipping. This is a more traditional compressor to keep the mic levels more balanced, particularly useful when there's a team mix. And phantom power, of course, and this is picking the 2 mic types and the gain, which can be adjusted here,
Yep.
and different bias selections for the headset if required. This is the game audio section, where we said that we have the different inputs into the game pot on the GTM. So the first three are stereo, from Toslink, the aux and the USB. They're 2-channel stereo inputs. You adjust the level there and you can pan them if you wish. On Dante we have more channels. You've got 5 stereo inputs in Dante. Obviously we're only expecting that you need 1 stereo input, but the extras is for future developments that may be required. We know from our experience in commentary that different broadcasters like working in different ways. So we've tried to put in a degree of flexibility where we can, and we have the available channels so that these options are here if they're needed in the future. Although we expect that will pretty much just be a single game. We've done the same for the de-embedded SDI audio. The 4 pairs there are available and can be mixed here, that go into the a stereo output into the headphones with pan control as well, if required. And obviously that's the lock function for the input mix. So that they're the input sources. This is the team mix. We've put an awful lot of options on the team mix because we suspect that moving forward there will be a lot of requirements for how the team mix works. So in the typical selection, we would think that the players within the teams here, this would just be the mix of your team. 6 players plus you, so there's 7 channels in total typically for a team we have here. But they can also mix in their coach into that, which is common to have the coach as part of the team mix. You probably don't need the referee, but you could if you wanted to get it to the players as well. Then as well, you can mix the game as well on team mix if you wish. And then we have 4 extra inputs here for future developments. And this, of course, is just a mixer. You are creating the mix here that goes to the team mix pot on the GTM. So you can see it's fairly comprehensive in terms of creating the mix. The 2 buttons at the moment, they're on and off buttons that work in different ways. Momentary, latching, cough, always on, always off. And one can mute the other. So if you want a talk back, you can have it mute the main output channel if you're using it as a talk back. But the way these work will depend a lot upon the role of the GTM. Because we can set the role here, which affects the parameters of how the device works. So for example, if this is a coach box and this is set up as if this is a referee box, the top panel button here actually becomes the button that activates the noise to all of the gamers.
Understood.
That's a specific function if the device is designated as a referee. This can also set the colour of the device. So for example, if we're a player, the team IDs here, you can have it so that Team 1, all the GTMs go red. Team 2, all the GTMs are blue, for example. So there are different functions on a cosmetic level that are affected as well. So here you just set the team up to 7 teams and the player number that they are within that team. And obviously these can all be locked out as well. That currently is the control and configuration that you have. The only part I haven't mentioned on the back of the unit is we also have assignable GPIOs. On the next revision of the software, because we're just doing this now. The hardware's done for these GPIOs, but it means you have interfacing. If you need to turn the mic or the talkback on remotely, you will be able to. If you need to take the signalling out that a talkback or the mic button is pressed, you'll be able to take that out to another device. So we have that interfaced. The control for the GPIs will be on Glen Controller, so they can be defined as to exactly what they're doing. So that's the GTM, and although it's the official launch for this here today, before we'd even officially launched that, because we'd spoken to a few companies about what was coming, because we've been involved in the tournaments, we'd already had a request for a customization of it, which is this unit here, the GTM Si, for a system integrator version. This is effectively the same as the standard GTM, The main difference is that it doesn't have any top panel controls. So this is for any tournaments where they don't want the gamers to be able to touch or control anything themselves. This can sit under the desk or on a floor, and it just does the interfacing and the mixing exactly as the same GTM without the top panel controls.
Gotcha.
And all the mixing adjustments you would just all do via the software. So this is our GTM. We've been getting great receptions to it before the show, before we've particularly started talking about it. We've been nominated for the Product of the Year, which is great, and we're really looking forward to the feedback that we're going to get at NAB.
Brilliant. Mark, it's an amazing device you've created here. Specifically exciting, I find. So as you say, first time we've seen this. Obviously you've had interest already from companies you've approached. If anybody wants to find out some more information about this, and obviously your range of products, but I suspect there's going to be a lot of contact reference to this, how can they get hold of you guys?
Well, it's our first foray into esports, so we have put an esports category on our website now.
Brilliant.
Where the information, PDF sheets, etc. is all there. Our website is glensound.com.
Brilliant, fantastic. Mark, thank you very much. An amazing product. I'm very excited about it, I can tell you. There's another 2 videos that we're doing here with Glensound, so don't forget to check those out. In the meantime, you'll find all these videos, of course, on our website, kitplus.com.